Credit card debt must be destroyed in order to feel true freedom. It's a modern-day shackle that needs to be broken.
Welcome to Step 3 of the Daily Dedication, Debt Destruction. In this deep dive series, I'm going to cover everything you need to take control of your debt, no matter how many or how large, and finally destroy them all, creating a level of peace and calm in your life that you may have never thought possible. I will be your guide every step of the way, and I'll personally walk you through how to change your habits, change any misconceptions or misunderstandings that you may have about debt, and teach you how to take control of your life without Visa or MasterCard reaching into your pockets ever again. Debt is emotional, and why you should care. The entire reason we started My Dedication is because of debt. My experiences witnessing the emotional toll it took on my family have motivated me to help others avoid the same mistakes and pitfalls. You will hear different statistics from the news, articles, and finance books, but the overall message is always the same. Far too many people are in debt, and even more people don't even know how to dig themselves out. Credit card debt can cause real stress, especially since paying the minimum payments creates an even longer, horrible road to paying off the balances. I witness debt's terrible effects daily when the balances and interest payments became overwhelming for my family. My mother did everything for us and provided the greatest childhood, but by the time I reached 17 years old, her credit card debt was astronomical. She kept this secret from everyone, burdening herself with miserable stress that couldn't ever be relieved without a complete shift to a new lifestyle. By the time she finally told me about the debt and maxed out credit card accounts, it was too late to just cut a little spending and pay them off. We had to work together to completely change the family mindset, outlook, and lifestyle if we were to have any hope of getting out. The large amount of debt forced her to declare bankruptcy, but that didn't mean the debts were forgiven. A judge got to decide how much our family was capable of paying back, which substantially lowered the overall amount, but she was still on the hook for over $2,000 a month in court-ordered payments back to the creditors. While I learned about this, my mom and I would talk weekly and work together on a plan. By this time, I was running out of personal finance books to read at bookstores. I was trying to understand every concept, strategy, and the mindset needed to destroy our debt. This problem was not going to just go away. We needed a plan. Every book I read talked about budgeting and mindful spending. I wanted to make these concepts apply to our situation, so one day over the phone, I made my mom tell me every single household expense and debt. We wrote down everything from gardening gloves to Christmas presents, electric bills to home insurance, the mortgage to dog food, and so much more. The final figure was astounding and far too high to handle, even for her great income. We had a spending problem. In addition to that, no expenses were tracked. They were paid, but never part of any sort of plan. Expenses happened to us, and she would just work harder and pick up additional projects at work whenever an emergency happened. Kids' activities, doctor's trips, braces, birthdays, and anything for her children was paid for no matter what. She wouldn't let us go without anything because that was just part of her immense generosity. It was detrimental to her finances and needed to stop. I cut the family budget in every way imaginable. No more cable TV, no more new cars ever, no more dinners out at restaurants, no more added activities, and hardest of all was no more big Christmas days. Christmas went from a $6,000 expense to less than $700, just a few gift cards and a nice meal together. Everyone was just as happy, and the changes we made set her on a course to be debt-free in less than 5 years, with the bankruptcy off her credit in 7. I've never seen someone demonstrate more discipline and resolve than my mother, and if she could get out of debt, I know you can too. The point of my story is that I have lived through the immense weight and stress of debt. I've seen what it can do to relationships, causing resentment and strain. It makes it hard for people to sleep well, and every life experience causes more stress instead of happiness because of the cost. Helping my family was an incredible challenge, but very rewarding. My mom had to change her way of thinking, our entire lifestyle, and she did it so well. I wanted to take everything I learned through that experience and help anyone else facing financial troubles. It turned out I didn't have to look very far. Every student at my college, every parent, teacher, every couple, literally everyone I talked to about personal finance had debt or a story about messing up their money. The problem was everywhere around me, so I decided to start helping. One by one, I would help anyone I could by sitting down for coffee and going through the same budgeting method used for my family during our difficult years. My peers were usually in credit card debt because campuses allowed bank reps to set up booths and trap young people with credit card offers. It was predatory and wrong, but the big banks, especially Wells Fargo, would let reps set up booths and offer students with no real income. They'd let them sign up for cards with limits of 5,000 and sometimes 10. You give an 18-year-old kid access to a magic card that lets them spend thousands of dollars with seemingly no consequences, and you have a recipe for disaster. The college kid doesn't understand intro APR, minimum payments, credit score factors, utilization ratios, and they definitely don't read the fine print that they would need a magnifying glass to see. So they happily sign up for the card and begin using it for emergencies, like pizza, beer, and beanbag boards. The spending continues until they, of course, hit the limit of the card and realize, oh damn, I have to pay this back with real money. This realization is more common than you think and happens a lot with fully formed adult brains too. The credit card spending doesn't feel real because you aren't handing over physical cash for your purchases, and it's far easier to just keep spending, especially without a plan. How many teenagers do you know who are thrilled about and into budgeting? The answer is not many. So all around me were students with maxed out credit cards with no plan or true understanding of how they got into this mess in the first place. The banks have no business giving college students such high limits in the first place, but they love it because they know mommy and daddy will rescue the kid, or better yet, they won't. And the interest payment trap is set, catching a young person in the cycle of minimum payments before they even graduate. A credit union would never do this to a young student, by the way. Have I mentioned how great credit unions are? Credit card debt is a horrible trap for people with little to no financial education. It's like starting a foot race, but you have to wait until the other person finishes before you get to start. It sets you behind by years, making it incredibly difficult to reach any financial goals. Couple that with student loan debts and any medical debts, and that person will be lucky if they ever get to own a home in their life. The point of this isn't to scare anyone. It is to illustrate a point about education. Financial education is horrible in this country, with only a handful of states setting requirements for even one semester of personal financial education. So where do people turn for this advice? They turn to other people who have never been taught about money, and the cycle continues. We rely on our parents, coworkers, friends, bankers, or anyone else with no formal financial education to teach or influence how we spend money. It's wild how such an important topic that affects every aspect of our lives is basically left up to chance and feeling. The dozens of students I helped in college would sit with me for no more than an hour, and I could see the light bulbs switching on in every one of them. It wasn't that personal finance was too difficult or impossible to learn. It was the simple fact that they had never been shown how to do it. For many of them, it was the first time they had even considered writing a budget, or simply write down where the money was going. Most people lived day to day and just let money happen to them. So of course, there was none left at the end of the month. And of course, there was nothing in savings. It turns out that growing up hasn't changed this much. I'm now 36, and my coworkers are in no better shape than those students 18 years ago. Many people are still in debt with maxed out credit cards, the same student loans, and now the added pressure of high car payments and even raising families. These well-intentioned, hardworking individuals did not receive any financial education. So now the difference is more expenses are just happening to them with no end in sight. At some point, we have to say enough is enough. Stop the madness, and it's time to reverse course on the debt machine. Most people can't even picture a life without debt because we are told by so much marketing to get into more of it. That's why cars are sold to us not by the total amount, but by the payment we can afford monthly. Think about it. Our student loans are there because that degree was supposed to secure us a high-paying job. Well, guess what? We are still paying them off 2 decades later and working in fields not even close to the subjects we studied. The credit cards let us have everything now, while trapping us into high-interest loans for that level of zero-discipline spending. There are no big bank advertisements telling us to be patient, calm, and save up for our purchases in cash. We can even split up our $30 Amazon purchases into 5 easy payments of $6. All of these things are so counterintuitive and so harmful to us, but we just keep on overspending until the lines of credit are exhausted. Nothing is left but a life bogged down by insurmountable debt. Debt is a way of life, and millions of people just keep plodding along as if someday a lottery win or magic will save them. For most of us, that day will never come. So in order to get ahead in life, you need to think differently. Anyone trying to get me into debt immediately gets the full wrath, and they wish they had never even started the conversation. I remember one car dealer who told me I shouldn't buy a $15,000 used car in cash because I could afford a $600 a month payment on a new car, and it would help my credit. I proceeded to tear him apart and explain how math works. I also explained that my 820 credit score was good enough for me, and I'd rather own what I drive instead of paying interest. I immediately asked for another rep and moved on. You can't be forced or pushed into making large financial decisions emotionally. That salesperson ultimately doesn't care about you at all. So do what is best for you always when it comes to protecting your money and staying out of debt. Go through your finances and see how much better you would feel without debt. Imagine with me for one moment your life without student loans, no car payment, no credit card debt, on your way to owning your home, a fully funded emergency account so you don't have to worry about your bills next month, no financed furniture or financed anything for that matter, no phone payment, no personal loans, and a true plan to retire rich while enjoying the journey along the way. That's what the Daily Dedication is all about. And going through these steps with me will ensure that you no longer owe anything to anyone. Think differently. Think freely. Learn what it takes to control your life with money instead of it controlling you. Giving people the education, tools, and lessons necessary to succeed in this subject is what I enjoy doing the most. It truly is rewarding seeing people instantly motivated to fix their situation and make a plan to succeed. It's almost like watching someone realize they have been tricked their whole life and they just figured out how to stop it from happening. This entire series is about those strategies, about strategies I have used, and the strategies used by leading personal finance instructors across the country. Put simply and accessible to everyone. I want to personally help you get out of debt. Stop letting the credit card companies profit off of your hard work and help you sleep better, living a more fulfilling life. All of this can be accomplished with a few time-tested strategies and simple math. I don't even think we use anything besides addition and subtraction, and your phone can do that for you. Let's get into it. It's time to take complete control of your financial life, and I'm here to show you how to do it.